Corsair are, to me at least, known for making PC gear which have the secondary function of vomiting the rainbow. Their peripherals have again, for me, felt overpriced and visually messy as if they were made by a child. But with the Corsair SABRE RGB Pro Wireless Champion series, that's its full name, shows some respect, they aim to make a big boy mouse for competitive gaming. It must have been difficult for them to resist adding a plethora of flaps, buttons and lights to this, so well done guys. Now they're out of their comfort zone a bit, let's take a closer look. Yeah, this looks like a mouse. Hold on, what's going on with these crinkled mouse feet? Well, I'll explain myself later. In my hand it feels pretty good to hold, everything is snug against my palm. There's no major point of concern that may create unwanted pressure or strain. It's very similar to the Pulsar X Lite and the glorious Model D, however this one is ever so slightly wider than both of those, so I feel like it's a little bit more accommodating for big boy hands. As a result of that, it's a lot more comfortable for my palm grip, and other grip type users with larger hands will probably find this really good. It weighs around 79 grams, which Corsair feel is light enough to call ultra light. These days I'm gonna have to disagree. It's a good weight, but I feel some puny and weak gamers will say it's too heavy. Even the coating here is really nice. It's a coarse matte texture that's similar to the coating used for Razer mice. It's not as coarse as theirs though. It's still really nice. It provides a good amount of grip and doesn't get irritating. There are some shiny accented lines around the mouse which luckily don't come into contact with your skin, because anything glossy and hands is a recipe for disaster. However, these lines right here gather so much dirt in between them. I'm one of those people that use a mouse for a while, then finally take a look at it and then become petrified by what they've seen. You see this gunk, so then you need to clean it, and then at least in my case you're not very successful, and then you have to record the mouse for footage for a YouTube video, and then you remember that again maybe you should have recorded the footage as soon as the mouse came out of the box. Now in the instructions it mentions taking the back off so you can remove the battery safely if you dispose of the mouse. So I wanted to try this to see if I could give it a nice clean out. In these instructions it says to remove the mouse feet, then unscrew the oh, there's no screws here. Well, it's still dirty and I've also ruined the feet. They were 100% PTFE feet as well. They aren't white, so they've probably been dyed. These were actually pretty good on all mouse pads I've used, mainly Quick Heavy and the Fanatic Dash. Obviously now though there's a bit of a scraping noise when I use it now. Before I move on, there is another unfortunate issue with the mouse. A build quality ailment that has most certainly destroyed my comfort with this mouse. Now this leads back to the part where I wanted to take the back off, because there's a creak that comes from this area, and I was hoping that if I opened it up I might be able to find something loose or a dead animal that could be causing the noise, but there was nothing there. So this mouse does in fact squeak a lot whenever you really apply a little bit of pressure into it, and it's very annoying. Anyway, in terms of buttons and switches, everything on this mouse is actually really good. I am actually kind of finding it hard to find things wrong with it. The main switches feel fantastic. They're using on ones rated for 50 million clicks. They also have something called quick strike buttons. So basically, there's no gap between the button and the switch, which feels like it's eliminated all pre-travel. There's even pretty much little to no post-travel as well, so these buttons actually do feel incredible. The remaining buttons are just as good. The side buttons are large, easy to reach, but also not in the way. The scroll wheel as well is also really nice and consistent. The mouse 3-click is also brilliant. So in total, the buttons are incredible for this mouse. I'm really impressed with their quality and consistency. It seems like there's a lot to this mouse that is great. The remaining buttons are the DPI toggle, a profile switch at the bottom, and also a switch which turns off the mouse and toggles between Bluetooth or 2.4 GHz wireless. There's also a little hole to store the USB port. In terms of sense performance, it's using what they call a marksman sensor, which supports up to 26,000 DPI. You get a 60-hour battery life on 2.4 GHz wireless, which is acceptable. It's got a USB Type-C charging port. Now on the website it says it's meant to have a paracord cable, but mine is just rubber. I hope you don't mind, but I did not use this at all because it would just be terrible to play games with. I'm just going to save my time and yours here. Another nice feature with the sensor is that it supports up to 2000 Hz polling rate. What does that mean? Well, most gaming mice are 1000 Hz. This one is 2000, which is a bigger number. Now this basically means that it's going to send more information at a faster rate than 1000 Hz. I honestly couldn't tell the difference that much, but it's still a neat feature if you're going to use it. Just be warned though that this will actually take a hit on your PC performance if you haven't really got the latest and greatest hardware. The software is Corsair's IQ software. I absolutely hate it. It's so bloated and cluttered, and for something as simple as a mouse it's not needed. But I guess for those that need to have their RGB matching the epic strip light, it's a must needed functionality. You can do all the normal things like change your DPI, the profiles and all that lot, but the size of the software is also 3.45 gigabytes, which is ridiculous. So despite that, even when using it in game, it's been really good. I've been on a bit of an Apex grind in the past week and I've really enjoyed my time using it. It's been comfortable and honestly I've had no complaints at all. I think the creaking back is annoying if you notice it and if you have this problem, but really it's a good mouse. So overall I'd recommend it, but it does surprise me to say that this Corsair have actually made a really good competitive gaming mouse. I think they've got a previous reputation to shed of being all flashy lights and that's it, but who knows, they might do a Logitech. If they keep on bringing out quality mice like this, they might very well be doing so. The price of this is on average around about $100. I got mine on sale at a reduced cost of around $60 and I'd recommend that you get it on sale too. I don't think Corsair are a leading mouse manufacturer that can ask for such a high price. The alternatives, being the X-Lite Wireless V2 and the glorious Model D, are both cheaper on average and I would say slightly better products. The mouse does exceed my expectations though. I really wasn't expecting it to actually be this good, but I feel they need a few more mice like these before people consider them a serious competitive gaming mouse brand. If you're wanting an ergonomic mouse that's a bit lighter, I have a video up now which should be a little bit better.